Welcome to Niagara Falls, Canada's playground. The date is the 23rd of April 2012. My name is Reginald Angus. I'm here again. Last year I was here with the Mayor of Niagara Falls. I'm here again this year with the Mayor of Niagara Falls, Jim Diodati. Mayor, you were telling us you wanted to give us some updates from last year's interview we did with you. 1812's celebrations coming up this July. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, we've got a lot of exciting events planned as we celebrate the bicentennial of the War of 1812, and the focus is really going to be on 200 years of peace, 200 years of the world's largest unmilitarized border. So there's a lot of interesting events planned, and there's a lot of interest in historical tourism, especially around why Canada has become the way it is today, and why it is that we sing "O Canada" and not some other national anthem. So we've got, to kick it off here in Niagara Falls, we're going to be opening up the Niagara Falls History Museum after an 11 million...
July 22nd.
July the 22nd, thank you. This July we'll be opening that up and celebrating $11 million investment into preserving the culture, the heritage, and the history of Niagara Falls, and more importantly, the border of Canada, and all the wonderful reasons why we're proud to be Canadian. So that'll be kicking off. There'll be concerts in Niagara on the Lake. There'll be all sorts of events over the next 3 years, taking us to 2014. We're very, very excited about all these events. We know a lot of people are planning to come here to join us as well.
Well, you're having a street event coming up. I think it's June 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Springalicious. And that's a yearly event that we do in our downtown area where we close down the street. We bring out street vendors, street entertainers, and performers. A lot of the local businesses have their wares for sale, or they've got special displays, special offerings. And it's just an excuse for the community to come together and to celebrate the spring as we're getting into closer to the summer. And it's a nice event because it's designed mostly for locals from the Niagara region, but it's open to everyone.
And you also have a gentleman here who's been glassblowing. His family's been glassblowing 500 years of history.
Angelo Rossi.
And he has, I know I've had a chance to talk to him. It's a real interesting history. I mean, Turner's name in there, Elton John's name in there involved with his history. Checked out his glassware. I know you do a TV show called
Getting Chatty with Mayor Diodati.
And with that, you actually interviewed Angelo one time. Can
Yes.
you tell us a little bit about his glassware he does, and how there's very few Canadians at this time actually even doing blowing glass?
Well, it's something of a lost art, and it's something he's been doing, as you mentioned, for hundreds of years through many generations. And I did get the opportunity to blow some glass as well, which was kind of neat. When we were done with my piece of art, it ended up in the recycle bin. But you don't really appreciate how difficult something is, because the simpler it appears means the better that person is and more skilled they are at what they do, until you try it yourself and you realize how complicated and multitask, and you've got this absolutely hot glass and you're trying to mold it and color it and form it and shape it, and you're fighting against time, and as it's hardening and thickening, and what an incredible thing. And Angelo was right on the top of Queen Street on our west end as you come into the downtown core. And it's a great place. A lot of bus tours, a lot of people that want to see that lost art can watch it firsthand and buy some beautiful hand-blown glasswork taken home with you. So no question, it's a worthwhile stop off, and a great educational experience for people as well.
And there's that gentleman that's going to be walking across the falls, not the gorge part, but actually the falls part.
Yes, Nik Wallenda, part of the famous Wallenda family, the Flying Wallendas, and they've been wire walkers for generations, for hundreds of years, and they used to perform with Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey, and Nik is going to make history this summer. We don't have a confirmed date yet. The date's changed a few times, but it will be this summer, hopefully the beginning of the summer, and he will walk across the Horseshoe Falls. This is something that has never happened. It's been about 130 some odd years since anyone has ever crossed the gorge, but no one has ever crossed the Canadian Cataracts, the Horseshoe Falls. So this will be history in the making. It'll be the first time it's ever happened, ever, and it won't happen again for at least 20 years. So anyone that's excited about the idea of watching history in the making can do it this summer here in Niagara Falls, but I'd advise they get here early, and they plan to be here because they're predicting there'll be 400 million eyes watching this walk live around the world. There'll be over 100,000 people here in person watching history in the making. So it's an exciting time. It's not every day that you get to watch history made, and it's part of Niagara Falls culture, part of its daredevil heritage. We've had barrels over the falls and lots of interesting events take place, but this will be one chance to experience it firsthand, and I'd recommend everybody make sure as soon as that date's announced, get that date booked and get down here and bring your family and watch history as it's made. And Nik, what a class act, what an interesting person, and this will be the biggest event on the planet that day. So all eyes of the world will be on Niagara Falls, and we'll be here to watch it as well.
Well, let's move on to, I know Niagara Falls on New York side, they're talking about the rapid train going in from Niagara Falls, New York into New York City. I know that you're talking to the provincial government right now, trying to do GO train service year round. Can you give us an update on that? I know, because that way you'll have basically a connection right from Toronto right over to New York, to the city of New York, basically is what you'll have once it's all in place.
That's exactly right. I met recently with Mayor Paul Deister, the mayor of Niagara Falls, New York, my counterpart, and he was showing me the designs, and they're currently building a high-speed rail station in Niagara Falls, New York, that, as you say, will go right to New York City. And at the same time right now, the province of Ontario is building a light rapid transit link between Toronto's airport, Pearson International, and their downtown bus terminal, Union Station. So they're going to connect those two. And at the same time, they're expanding GO Train, which is Government of Ontario commuter train service. They're expanding it this way from the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area, into the Niagara Peninsula. So as soon as they make this link, you literally, as you say, will be able to fly into Toronto and get out of the airport, and you'll be able to go right to New York City via train, or any stops in between, including downtown Toronto, Niagara Falls, or wherever it is that you may want to go. And it'll be a big advantage for people that commute to the GTA for work, because you won't have to waste windshield time. It'll be productive time. You'll be able to read the paper, work on your BlackBerry, your laptop, sleep, do push-ups, whatever it is that you'd like to do. But otherwise, this would be time lost forever if you had to drive. And the nice thing is there's no traffic jams on the railroad tracks. So it's a little better to predict what time you're going to get to work on the train, especially they've got a very high on-time ratio. So we've had ongoing discussions with Metrolinx, who run the GO, and the St. Lawrence Seaway, who run the Welland Canal, which it goes over, to make sure that we're going to have everything organized and planned out. We're very excited. Our goal, 2015, that's when the Pan Am Games will be held, and Niagara Falls Convention Center, the Scotiabank Convention Center, will host all of the athletes, coaches, and trainers from around the world. So we're trying to have that link established for 2015 in time for the Pan Am Games.
And also, we have to remember New Year's last year, you had ET here. 60,000 people in Niagara Falls were celebrating. This year, you're trying to break the record with 100,000. I know that you're saying that the entertainers lined up for this year, you're not going to let out the list yet, but could you give us some sort of hint, sort of thing?
Well, first of all, when you say ET is going to be here, you don't mean extraterrestrial ET.
Yeah.
We're talking Entertainment Tonight Canada, ET Canada, and Global. Yes, they're going to host the show this year again, and they do an outstanding job. It was the biggest show in all of Canada in terms of attendance. At the same time, it was also the biggest show that was televised in terms of television numbers. So this year, we're going to have some even bigger numbers. The reason I can't confirm with you is, number one, we haven't confirmed. We've put out feelers for some of the major acts, but I can tell you, last year we stepped it up a significant step. This year, ET Canada had such outstanding results, they want to step it up another notch. So they're talking some top drawer performers right out of LA, right out of Las Vegas, right out of Toronto or Vancouver. They want this show not only to be the biggest show in Canada, they want it to be known as one of the biggest shows in North America. So you'll have to hang tight. You'll have to watch my Twitter for some updates as soon as I can announce them. But good try.
Thank you so much for your time there, American. Actually, can you leave us with some closing words you'd like to share with me?
Well, sure. There's a lot of exciting things happening in Niagara Falls, and we've been lucky enough last year to tour parts of the world, including all around China and parts of the Middle East, including Dubai and Abu Dhabi. And one thing I found really interesting, something we take for granted in Canada. We take Niagara Falls for granted sometimes. We've got one of the most worldly renowned, iconic destinations, and we've got it right here in our country. And Niagara Falls belongs to all of Canada. It belongs to the west, to the central, to the east, to the north. Niagara Falls is Canadian. It's part of all of Canada. And we take it for granted sometimes, and the Premier of Ontario, Mr. McGuinty, was sharing a story with us recently when he was in China. And he was trying to explain to them what he did. I'm a Premier in Ontario. And he was trying to explain to them, and he wasn't getting a lot of understanding. And he mentioned about Toronto, and then he said, we have Niagara Falls, and everybody erupted in applause and understanding. And it's something that you have to realize, that Niagara Falls is one of the few destinations in the world that you don't have to say anything else besides the name Niagara Falls, and they understand and they know. And many cultures have got songs they sing about Niagara Falls. Uneducated farmers in the mountains of China know about Niagara Falls. It's one of these places that is so well known. So we need to appreciate that and take care of that. And that's why we like to say, brush just the teeth that you want to keep. In Niagara Falls, we plan to market the brand and take full advantage so that we can attract enough eyes of the world onto Niagara Falls, onto Ontario, and onto Canada. And we're well on our way to doing just that and putting us where we belong with all those other great cities of the world. So when people hear the word Niagara Falls, they continue to smile for generations to come, and they continue to put us on their bucket list of places to visit, because we want everyone to come here, because people travel and they've got these places on their bucket list of where they want to go, what they want to do before they die. Well, we want to make sure everyone has Niagara Falls on that list as well.
Well, thank you very much for your time,
Okay,
Mayor.
my pleasure.